What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, hi, I'm Stephanie. If you're returning, hey, what's up? How you been? Okay, so here's the thing. We are going to collectively agree to ignore my appearance right now. It is the first 50-degree day in Chicago, aka it's fall. And so my ass was like, oh my god, I have a great idea. Let me go get a spray tan for literally no reason. I did that about an hour ago. I paid money for this and I'm not gonna fuck it up by putting on makeup. So we're just gonna ignore, the outfit. It's Balenciaga, in case anybody was wondering. Kim K, I'm coming for your throne. If you enjoyed this video today, be sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe so you never miss another one of my videos in the future ever again. Okay, without further ado, let's chit chat about something that many of you have asked me a bunch of times. This is a question that when I posted that little Q&A thing on my Instagram story for one of my last videos, the Q&A Get Ready With Me, this was a question that appeared several times, and I figured when I was reading it, I was like, okay, I can either include it in the Q&A video or I can just make a separate video, a full video going over it. And I think that's what we're gonna do. We're already doing it. So here is the question and here is the answer. You guys kept asking me, what are tips that I have for you that will help either land an interview at Starbucks or land the job at Starbucks? And I'm gonna tell you my tip-top secret. This is my secret sauce. This is how I got hired at all 3 of my stores, mind you. Forget all the other advice that everyone else has told you. Listen to this advice. And listen, I'm usually not that cocky about advice or my opinion or things that I have to say, because I realize that people are always gonna have different perspectives. They're always gonna have different advice, and nothing is ever a one-size-fits-all. But I'm very confident in this advice because not only has it worked for me 3 times over, but it has also worked for my other friends that wanted to get an interview or wanted to get a job at Starbucks. I gave them this advice, they did it, and it worked for them. This is a tried and true little hack for getting both an interview and most likely also getting the job at Starbucks. And I'm gonna share it with you today for free. Listen. Everybody always gives the same advice when they're talking about an interview, right? They say, be yourself and make sure your resume is up to date and make sure you're doing this and don't chew gum and don't wear sandals and that. First of all, why can't I wear sandals? I have some really cute sandals in that closet back there. I really try to approach interviews in a way that are going to make me as an applicant stick out, stand out. I think that's where the magic happens though. When you do something or go out of your way to do something that typical applicants aren't necessarily doing, that's when you are going to stick out and your name is going to stick out. As most jobs, Starbucks sees thousands of applicants every single day, which by the way, I saw plenty of applications when I was working at Starbucks because I would review them sometimes with one of my managers, which I don't think that I had the credentials to do that, but I was doing it. So you didn't hear that from me. But one thing that I saw come up all the time when it was that, why should you work here? It's like the, I love coffee. I love frappuccinos. I love coming through the drive-thru and getting a pink drink. And it's like, that's great, except that literally gave us no context of why you would be a good barista here. And I'm not trying to be an asshole by saying that, but it's like, okay, those applications typically didn't stick out. Usually they would just go in with the rest of the pile and never be looked at again. It was the people that either say certain things on their resume or do what I'm about to tell you to do, that would be the people who would get hired. Okay, I'm gonna create a scenario and I'm gonna put me at the root of that scenario. So I'm Stephanie. I want to go get a job at Starbucks. I think that being completely traumatized and yelled at and drinks thrown at me sounds like a really great line of work. That sounds like something I really want to do. I like that, so I'm gonna go apply and seek that line of work out. I'm gonna hop on my laptop because we are in 2022 and therefore all applications are basically electronic at this point. I'm gonna pull up the Starbucks application. It's gonna give me several options if the website still looks the same as it did a few years ago, which I'm assuming it probably does. It gives you a drop down and it tells you the locations that are hiring in your area, or it just lists the locations that are in your area. So I think there is an option for you to select multiple locations. but only send one application. Like the one application will go to all those locations. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, okay, I live in Chicago, therefore I want to apply to this location, this location, this location, and this location, because they're all in a 1 mile vicinity of me. Because believe me, when you live in a big city, there is a Starbucks on every corner. I'm gonna send in my application. I'm gonna say why I'm a good fit. I'm gonna list out my experience, my prior coffee experience. If you don't have prior coffee experience, that is okay. That is not gonna be something that a Starbucks hiring manager is gonna look at and immediately throw your application to the side. I can't speak for all Starbucks. I can speak for the ones that I worked at. The 3 stores I worked at, they didn't really take prior coffee experience as something that was like a major game changer, but I do know of stores that do look for that. That is something that is not required but is recommended for whoever is applying. They would rather just have somebody walk in who knows the job or at least has basic understanding of coffee. Don't freak out, because that's not every location. If you do not have that, what I would recommend putting on your resume or putting on the application somewhere is that you are a fast learner, you are enthusiastic to learn, you are enthusiastic about coffee, you love coffee, you drink or consume coffee products and beverages on a daily basis. Obviously, if you don't have that prior coffee experience, I would recommend driving home the point of, hey, I don't necessarily have that right now, but I am a fast learner, I'm willing to learn, I'm excited to learn, and I'll pick it up very quickly if you decide to hire me on, which is something that'll always translate well. That a hiring manager is never gonna look at the fact that somebody is willing to learn and is a fast learner and think that that's a bad thing. That's never gonna happen. It's just a little tidbit. Okay, me being Stephanie, I just selected 4 locations around me in Chicago. I'm gonna throw my application in. I have prior coffee experience, so I'm gonna drive that point home. I'm gonna be like, I've worked at a Starbucks before, I've worked at X cafe before, I have the coffee experience, and now I would like to work for you. Now, it's a waiting game. I'm waiting for the Starbucks store manager to get back to me. They're not getting back to me. This is where my advice comes into. You ready? You ready to take notes? This is how you are guaranteed going to land an interview at Starbucks if the location you are applying to or wanting to work at is, in fact, actively hiring. Let me tell you the rest of this, because this is how I'm going to not only save your time, but make the best use of your time, because time is money. And in this economy, we need as much money as we can possibly get. What you're gonna do, you just put your application into the few locations that you're interested in working. You're gonna pick up your cellular device. Oh my God, look, it's my dog. Look how cute she is. You're gonna look up the Starbucks locations that you have applied to. Then you're gonna give them a ring-a-ding. You're gonna be like, hey besties, is your hiring manager available to speak at the moment? Yes, perfect. Please put me on hold. Let me wait to speak with them. No? Okay, would you mind disclosing me when they would be available next to speak to? And they're gonna say something like, oh, they're usually in the mornings on weekdays. Call back during that time. But if they're in, hi so-and-so, this is Stephanie Zullo. I actually just put my application into the store yesterday. I'm really interested in working at this location. I was curious if you're actively hiring at the moment. If they say no, then say, thank you, next. If they say yes, beautiful. What days are you typically available? I would really love to come in and introduce myself in person. And there's the goal, baby. That is my key tip. Let me tell you the few reasons why this works. 1, Starbucks is, as you can tell, a company that you gotta talk to people. That is signaling to them that you don't fear initiating conversation. What it's also gonna show a hiring manager is, I'm really interested in working here. The last reason I say that this is a really good move is because it's also showing that you have a level of professionalism to you. You are willing to come in and shake hands and introduce yourself and just give a quick spiel about who you are, where you came from, why you're interested in working at Starbucks. Like that, again, sets you apart. Once you go in and introduce yourself to the hiring manager, immediately shake their hand. Hi, I'm Stephanie, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you speaking to me on such short notice. I realize you're probably very busy. I just wanted to quickly introduce myself and just express how interested I am in this position. I have a love for coffee. or I have a lot of coffee experience, list that experience. So then the hiring manager is gonna come back and say, oh, that's great, happy to hear that, no matter what you just told her or him. Then the next question usually out of their mouth is, what does your availability look like? Now, I have said this in a prior video. You need to be honest about this. You can't say like, yes, I have weekend availability just to get your foot in the door, and then when they hire you, they try to schedule you all these weekends, and then a week or two into it, you're actually like, can you switch my availability from weekends to weekdays? Well, they hired you because they thought that you had what they were looking for, which was weekend availability. Again, this is just an example. Please be honest when they have this question. If they're not looking for what you have at that moment, another store will be. Wrap up the conversation with saying something along the lines of, again, I'm really appreciative of your time today. It was great chatting with you. I look forward to hearing from you. After that, do a little out, or you could do a little up to the register and get one of my Starbucks drinks that I've recommended to you. Shameless plug. Get your drink and then do a little out the door. One of two things is either going to happen after this. One, the hiring manager might just offer you an interview on the spot. Bingo, you just got what you wanted and you fast-tracked it because you jumped ahead of the competition. The competition being the other applicants that you are competing against for the position. You just jumped ahead of them and you just solidified an interview just because you took 20 minutes out of your day to go shake hands and talk about yourself. Or the second thing that's gonna happen is they're gonna say, thank you for coming in, might marinate in it for a couple of days, and then pick up the phone. Where's the phone? Ring a ding, do you wanna come in for an interview? If they don't, here's what I recommend after that. If you don't hear from them for several days and they didn't offer you an interview on the spot, ring a ding, call back and be like, hi, it's me again, it's Stephanie again. I was curious if you're still actively hiring. I would love to speak with you more about the position and what it all entails if you had any sort of availability over the next couple of weeks. To that, they're either gonna say, you know, we did decide to move forward with other applicants, but best of luck, or they're going to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We have been understaffed forever and I haven't had a chance to look at anything other than spilled milk underneath the fridge. So I'm so sorry. Why don't you come in for an interview? Again, this is something that you can exercise at multiple stores at once if you want to. In terms of the interview, I'll just give you this little tidbit. Don't be scared. Go into it with an open mind. Ask as many questions as possible. Just be on your best behavior. Go about it as you would any interview. I have full confidence in you guys. And there you have it. There is my little tip, my technique that I always tell people to go and do. You are a beautiful, special human being and you are deserving of a job that you enjoy. So make that known, that you are worthy of working at that store and calling yourself a barista, okay? Go get that free Spotify. This was wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope these tips and tricks help you. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, I'm happy to make them. I'm happy to talk more about the interview process. I'm happy to talk more about the onboarding process. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to a barista, but most importantly, be nice to yourselves.